This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3bg. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick. Dude, so how have you guys been?
You know.
I don't know, man. Rough week. Can I vent for a sec?
What? Did you hear that? JD just asked about venting. That's really sus.
Very sus.
Wait. Sus? What are you guys talking about? I'm serious. I wanted to vent.
Vote JD.
Already done. Voting JD.
JD was not the imposter.
We just voted JD out, so I guess I'll do it. You just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show.
Yay!
Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm Sus.
I'm Peterson.
I'm Danny.
Looking real sus, JD.
Real sus.
I have to play this
Acting
damn
like-
game now. I have
What?
to
Do.
What's
I have to get the meme on my own show. I feel like that's a thing. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us, as with all weeks, by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this cool cookie shop and pretzel and soda shop here in Midvale, Utah. And they have new cookies every week, and they have a drive-thru and DoorDash. And Peterson, you are going to wet yourself when I tell you what the cookie of the week is this week. Well,
I'm
there's two.
already wetting
Trent
myself.
is going
Go.
off the rails. I don't know how this dude with like a brand new baby and this business is just pumping out 2 new cookies a week, but he's doing it. This is the coffee cake. It's brown sugar cinnamon dough base with sweet cream filling and brown sugar streusel, and it's finished with a cream cheese frosting drizzle.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got a coffee cake. He's got the pumpkin spice cheesecake, the caramel apple pie, and another new one which has Annie all over it. A chocolate covered strawberry, sweet cream, strawberry
amazing.
puree, and melted white chocolate drizzle on top of a sugar cookie with a little bit of
Love
graham
it.
cracker. Oh my god. So check out Crave Cookies at cravecookies.com. Peterson, kick us off with this one for whatever reason.
Yeah, so recently a group, a video game piracy group called Team Executor or Executor. I'm not sure which one it is. Right? Are you looking? It's Executer, Executor or Executor. Anyway.
It's probably Executor, because
it probably
that sounds
is
more
that
gamer.
sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Executor.
Executor is a Pokemon, so probably
a terrible
the first one.
Pokemon.
It's
Yeah, it
they
sucks
named
so
their
bad.
team after a really bad Pokemon, and so
Cool.
they deserve all of the bad things that come to them. 3 of their group got arrested and charged with 11 felony accounts. They make pirating software for the Switch and for the 3DS that people can buy and use to, I don't know, play games they don't own, pirated copies of games, right?
Right.
One of the guys, though, this is the kicker. One of the guys' names is Gary Bowser. This guy, Bowser, is pirating Nintendo software. Come on. Maybe he
Where's
went into that.
Waluigi?
I think what we're really learning here is how shockingly common of a last name Bowser is.
Yeah, because we got Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo America.
Right.
And now Gary Bowser. Is this a conspiracy?
I mean, Bowser has a whole family in Super Mario, so we're just kind of going through all of the Koopa kids.
And where did his name originate? For some reason, it makes me think of, do you remember that Japanese baseball game, Super Famicom, for the NES, this SNES, in 1994, and the Japanese developers just made up what they thought sounded like American names.
Yeah.
So like Sleeve McDykel, Onsen Sweeney,
I went to
Daryl
college with that guy.
Arkadeld, Ray McScriff.
Bro, he's a Facebook friend.
Oh yeah,
Glenallen Mixon. So this
he
is
was
all
in my
I'm
yearbook.
thinking is they made up fucking Bowser. They're like, oh, we need an American name for the bad guy. They're like, oh yeah, I know a real asshole named Bowser. It was like actually a real guy.
Bowser.
Todd Bonzales, Mike Cernandez,
Dude,
Tim Sandelli.
wait, did you say Bonzales?
I did say Bonzales. I absolutely fucking did.
I love that so much.
Willie Dustis, Bobson Dugnut.
Bobson?
I want these tattooed on my chest.
Bobson Dugnut?
Kevin Noggleny. I just
Listen, all I'm hearing are great aliases if you ever have to go underground.
Kidding me? These are killer names.
So that's where Bowser came from too. The same guys came up with Bowser.
Oh man.
So this is kind of sad. You guys know this is one of the things that brings great sadness to my heart is when an online service game closes. I don't care if it's a shitty free-to-play MMO or, I don't know, Farmville for Facebook. It always makes me a little sad. But Farmville is officially closing with the sunsetting of Flash basically everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
They will be closing the game servers down and it won't work anyway at the end of this year. I don't know. It makes me so sad. And the one that made me sad about this one particularly is I was reading on Reddit, and this is something that I'm sure a lot of people have experience with, but as annoying of a time that this was,
Yeah.
a lot of your loved ones sunk a lot of fucking time into Farmville.
Oh, yeah. Like,
and probably
I'm-
some money.
Yeah. And it's just like they can never, like, some people are like, oh, my 74-year-old dad like spent all his time on Farmville, and he passed away, and every once in a while I'd still go like check out his farm, and it made me feel good that he was still there, just like dinking around. And I was like, that filled me with a crushing sadness.
With this goes literally all of my Facebook interaction that I still had, the little ghost of Facebook
Yeah,
that I kept around.
Without Farmville invites, Facebook is basically nothing.
No
It's just
one's
like
going to talk to me ever again.
It's just like a racism farm.
Look, this too makes me really sad that, you know, this game, obviously there's a Farmville 2, a Farmville 3, right? People can jump into.
Sure.
But the OG Farmville is closing, and yeah, it's sad whenever something closes. I'll say the only time it is not sad when something closes is when it's WildStar. That's the only one that it was not sad at all. It was well deserved.
Spiteful. One thing on the way out on this one is this opened my eyes to something that I didn't really realize or knew existed, which is there's game preservationists out there. These are people that are like, you guys don't think of it now, but, you know, and I think they have a point, because in 25 years, we're going to be looking back on Farmville and being like, oh, yeah, it was just a thing. Everyone's like, we have some screenshots and some videos of it, but like, really, there's nothing that exists of the original code or how it was written or made, because they made no effort to archive it at all. Like, a lot of Flash games have been archived, and you could still play them on Steam, technically. And, you know, Farmville would be kind of a tough one to do, but at the same time, like, this is, like, as silly as that sounds, right? It's just fucking Farmville on Facebook. Who cares about cataloging it? That is history. That is something that we should try to save, because it costs us next to nothing.
Well, and it was such a big thing. Like,
yes,
it was a thing that happened.
It's a massive part of the early, like, 2010s.
Yep.
And it's just going to poof. It's just kind of disappear when we absolutely had the technology and capabilities to save it. I don't know.
I'll say I wish they would end it in some epic way.
They never do.
I know. Like, they need to just be like, look, Farmville is not going to exist anymore, and here's why. They need to I don't know, zombie invasion or something like that. Do something epic. No, I don't know. It could be a gender reveal party that goes wrong, and the whole thing burns.
Everything gets
I don't know.
torched. Wow.
Too soon? Is that too soon?
No. No, because there's going to be another one soon, I'm sure, and it's going to cause some other environmental disaster.
It's always too soon.
Can you
because
start a
there's always
hurricane with
fire.
a gender reveal party? I don't know, but Karen and Kevin are going to find out together.
So that's how they need to end Farmville. Just a gender reveal party. Everything starts on fire. Your farm is gone. Everything is gone. That's how they end it.
And then we find out that it was not. Okay, Peterson, do this next one.
Oh, dude. Okay. Just Stadiawatch 2020.
Stadiawatch.
Boop, 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 boop.
That was the perfect sound effect. I'm using that on the soundboard now.
Yup.
So Google, the brilliant company Google, they just revealed their new Chromecast device. It does way more than the other versions, so it's, the upgraded version. The one thing it doesn't do is work with Stadia. Which is like, that's what you did. Like, you bought Chromecast and got Stadia with it. Like, it was a whole package. It works perfect for the Chromecast. The new Chromecast, no, doesn't work on Stadia. Stadia doesn't work.
That's tragic.
You know what this is? This is absolute utter disrespect from the Chromecast product team. Because they're all on separate parts of the company. They're probably, halfway across the campus. And there was one engineer that was like, whoa, guys, isn't Chromecast, like the last one we made, Chromecast Ultra, it had all this stuff in it for running the Stadia. Why is that all being taken out? And they're like, Gary, you shut the fuck up. We're not doing Stadia anymore. Didn't you hear? And he's like, oh, shoot. Literally everyone at Google knows that Stadia is dead except Stadia.
Yeah, that's because everyone else treats him like a nerd at the, little table that doesn't get to hang out with anyone. Chromecast sends its regards, man.
Chromecast doesn't need your shit, Stadia. Are you kidding me?
Guys, I really think we should include Stadia. They're putting in a lot of work over there. Gary, I know you just came from the Stadia team. It's dead. Send them a basket. They're dead. Okay?
Let Stadia die.
Plus, Jared, who's running Stadia over there, is a huge jerk. We hate him. We're not putting their product on here. How else can they justify not putting all their stuff together? Right?
Because it's a giant company and they don't know what one end of it is doing while the other end's doing something differently.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, take it somewhere, Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together. Get your shit together.
I will say this headline is a little misleading because it seems to imply that Stadia worked on any Chromecast when it kind of didn't. Because remember when you had to have only the Ultra was the only one it ever worked on, and it didn't work that great. So basically there was one Chromecast out of the many generations of Chromecast that it did work on. And honestly, I bet a bunch of Stadia team members got down Chromecast's throats about stuff, and they're like, fuck you, I'm gonna put you in the product next time then.
Good luck staying relevant.
Yeah, what do you exactly. Yeah,
dude,
good luck.
The best part of this, what do you mean not the best part? Another good part of this, so Google is discontinuing the Chromecast Ultra. And the only way you can get it is by purchasing the entire Stadia starting kit.
No!
I will not.
For $100.
I will not do that. No!
Yeah, dude, so they're like, you know what? Fine. Throw you guys a bone. You can have all the old Chromecasts. And they're like, well, we want the new one.
This is like when you'd open the TV schedule when you were a kid, and you'd go to the Friday night lineup, and you'd see that your favorite show was playing at 9 p.m. on Friday, and you're like, no, they're canceling it.
It's done.
It's done. I'm never going to be able to watch Supernatural again. Just kidding, you guys. That show cannot die. Yeah, I love this. I love that. I just love that they can't do anything right. And more than anything, I love being right. I love having been right on this since the very outset. So kudos to me. I wish we still had a gong.
Okay, easy.
Next up, so apparently CD Projekt Red promised many moons ago, and we all saw this, that there was not going to be a mandatory crunch for Cyberpunk 2077. Crunch, as a reminder, is this lovely little term that sounds a lot cuter than it is, which is basically working video game developers to the bone to meet arbitrary deadlines to pump a game out in time. This generally means working anywhere from like 10 to 16 hour days, 6 to 7 days a week for upwards of a year. So it was kind of, Danny's well aware of crunch.
I have crunched.
Anyone,
good.
anyone, it's hard to avoid it in the game industry at all. And so, it was kind of a cool thing that the CD Projekt Red, I'm just kidding you guys. They don't give a shit. They're crunching. They're crunching
of course
now.
They are.
Because they got to get the game done. So of course they're going to crunch. And of course they're going to come out with a press release that's like, fucking idiots. Of course they're crunching. We tried not to, but then we had to. That's literally all it says.
Yep.
It's like, sorry, not sorry. We weren't gonna, but then we did. I was like, that's not a thing. You don't get to just say, what?
So here's my 2 cents on this. I mean, I get it, right? I get it because they've got a deadline. And the thing about developing software, developing video games, is it can always be better. You can always put more in. It can always be better. There's always a bug, right? Someone does something, introduces a new bug. There's always more to work on, which is why early access exists, right?
Right.
But when you have a game like this that's so anticipated, people are excited. I think they've already pushed it back a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, right? I get it. They're going to have to crunch. I feel like this happens anytime there's a deadline for anything. At my company, right? This happens. We're doing a contract proposal. All of a sudden, everyone's working Saturday, Sunday. Everyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I get it. As long as they don't kill all of their employees by doing it for a year plus. If they came out and said, we've been crunching our employees since February, that's going to burn everybody out. They were burned out 5 months ago, right? Because they have to know this will burn everyone out. So they have to compensate people for this. And that's, I think, the tragedy with crunch in the video game industry right now. A lot of times people are crunching and working these major hours and not getting paid overtime that they deserve, right? So if they crunch them for a month and a half and give them all the overtime that they work, I can be okay with that. If they crunch them for 6-9 months and they cut people on overtime and then they immediately lay people off and don't get bonuses and stuff, that's when it's not cool for me. So I mean, I get it. It sucks, right? But if people are compensated for their time on this, that I think reduces the bitter taste that crunch leaves, at least for the consumers.
Hope that's the case. Yeah, like a lot of times it's cultural based too. It's that you can go home. Crunch isn't always super mandatory in some of these studios. It's that you're going home to take care of your kid or something, but all of the other people are going to be here for another 5-6 hours. So why are you leaving early? It becomes like a peer pressure situation just by the culture of the studio. And that is something that is instilled in a lot of game developers extremely early on in their careers. And like a lot of people want to prove themselves in the industry because they want to prove that they earned their right to be there, right? They want to put their best foot forward. They want to show that they're passionate. You hear that word so much in like game development applications if you're looking for any job in the game industry.
It just sounds like grooming.
Oh, it's predatory as hell.
Yeah.
It
literally sounds like grooming.
Dude, I got out of grad school. You know how much I crunched like all the damn time. And this was not something that was like absolutely like expected of me. It wasn't told that I should do this. It was culturally enforced by
knew you
not
were
stepping
to.
in, and like by professors not stepping in and telling you should go home because it's 2 a.m, etc. And like this stuff will be here tomorrow. You are encouraging young students and game developers to get into the habit of crunching because they feel like they have to. It sucks. That's my rant. I hate crunch.
This is why indies again are just such a wonderful presence in the industry.
Them.
I know there is a level of crunch that might happen with indie games, but for the most part, right, it's just a handful of people working on a project they want to work on. They're doing this, right? They're not doing this as like because they got a boss and a bunch of coworkers frowning at them every time they need to go to the bathroom, right? Or go home and take care of their kids. This is why indies are so wonderful, and this is why the video game industry, it feels unsustainable. I don't know. It just feels like it's too big. It feels like it's too big.
Yeah, we have no worker protections. This is why there's a huge push right now to unionize the game industry and give workers these protections so that you can't just prey on them and burn them out like this.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, it just gets me so mad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta
better be worth it, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's better be the best game that I'll wait for to go on sale.
What?
So,
no.
continuing onward, Modern Warfare no longer fits on a 250 gig solid state drive. This is one game that takes up a quarter of a terabyte, so much so that if you have a 250 gig card and it's trying to run Microsoft Windows and Steam and whatever, or I guess not Steam, it would be the Activision, it would be Blizz
Battle.net,
whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. Battle.net,
Yep, it just won't work. Yep,
too
not
gonna happen.
Not gonna sit on this SSD anymore.
Somewhere I feel a tech artist just like coming down with kidney stones from that lack of optimization.
Oh my god. Well, apparently, so I've been digging, and Danny, you could probably do better digging than me. The best explanation I have been able to find is that the reason it's so fucking big is because there are game assets being stored in multiple places for faster loading. So these assets can load quicker because they're stored in like all over the place.
So it's just like a very weird system.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great way to do it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like other games have improved on load times and not been over 200 gigs. I don't know. There's got to be a better way.
Well, one thing that was pointed out to me also, which is horrifying, and I can't believe we live in this type of hellscape, but Comcast has data caps on internet plans.
Yep.
I was unaware of this. And so people have talked about how if the game, like if they have to reinstall the game because it's like bugged or it's just not opening or something like that, they basically have to use their whole data cap to download the game.
Wow, that's a nightmare.
Because it's 200 plus gigs.
Oh,
Jeez.
awesome. Way to go, guys.
I still enjoy it. Guys, I'm still enjoying it.
I don't know how you still have space on your computer for it, but is it just like Modern Warfare and then like 2 other games and you have to delete them?
Well, I have 2 terabytes, so I have Modern Warfare on 1 terabyte, and then I have
everything else on the rest.
I had to delete a couple videos of my kids when they were babies, but
dude, your kids are right freaking there all the time. You can just look at them. You don't need pictures. You do need Modern Warfare, though.
Exactly. It won't be there one day. Modern Warfare won't be there.
It'll be gone.
I'll regret.
Just like Farmville, it'll be gone, and you'll be like, wasted hours on kids' pictures.
My stupid kids.
First Steps video. What the hell is this crap? Dumpster.
First Steps video.
Why is it so long? Okay, so Peterson's gonna love this. In their ongoing efforts to deny any responsibility, Nintendo is reportedly arguing that Joy-Con drift isn't a real problem and hasn't caused anyone any inconvenience.
Okay. Who wrote this story? Was this Bowser? Was this Doug Bowser? Did
or
he
the other
write this
Bowser?
story?
You, Bowser.
Yeah,
Gary,
which
was
Bowser?
this you?
Which Bowser wrote this? Because I can tell you right now, it is a straight up lie.
So
I have
Joy-Con,
4 Joy-Cons. All of them have drift. All 4. Every 4 of them.
These are the little controllers on a Nintendo Switch, and it just means like your character may be standing somewhere, but he's slowly drifting to the left because the controller is registering that you're ever so slightly pressing on the thumbstick when you're not,
or not super slightly.
Oh, like, is it pretty intense?
In one of mine, it is like you can't even use it. It's so bad.
Jeez.
So. To clarify, this isn't Nintendo officially making this statement. This is Nintendo's U.S. Law firm that's representing Nintendo of America in this lawsuit. It's a class action lawsuit for drift, and their lawyers are saying, prove it. They're like, prove it. Show us a video. Which is the most lawyerly bullshit ever, but congrats, you guys have upheld your reputation of being pricks. Congrats.
And then they got videos, by the way. They got lots of videos.
There's a billion on YouTube. Google it, you dumb bastards.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking this up right now. Who is their law firm? It's Bowser and Kong?
Yeah.
You guys know who that is?
I knew it. I knew it. There's so many Bowsers.
So many.
Dude, okay. So I see the problem now. Nintendo, get away from Bowser.
But yet, you guys, there is still one company that's much, much worse. And apparently it's it's Ubisoft. It's not Nintendo, it's Ubisoft. I'm shocked, but here we are. We have looped back around
to 3 years ago.
3 years ago when the show started, and Ubisoft was absolutely bottom tier on our shit list. They enjoyed this like one glorious year of us saying that they were good, and then man, they just flushed everything down the toilet. I guess to be fair, they were always in the toilet and we just didn't recognize it because we were in the toilet with them.
Because we were living in the toilet. Guys, we were hanging out in the bathroom. We were sleeping under the sinks. That's why we couldn't tell.
But Ubisoft, if you guys don't remember, had kind of its own Me Too moment a couple of months back, in which it was revealed that there is just systemic issues with sexual harassment, all sorts of other misconduct and bullshit that was happening. It was very much a top-down cultural policy that stemmed from the VPs, the creative directors, these people that had like an untold amount of power over these employees that they were just like wielding relentlessly. So Ubisoft has been dealing with this basically the whole summer. They shit canned a lot of these buttholes, and
is that the name of the episode?
Shit canned those buttholes. If you can bring yourself to name it that, it absolutely is.
I don't want to have to make the picture is the problem.
But anyway, they have conducted. They're doing all sorts of internal things as you do. Peterson, as an employee in HR, I imagine you can relate to the nightmare they're dealing with right now.
Well, this gave me an aneurysm. It said 1 in 4 employees witnessed or experienced misconduct. 1 in 4.
Yeah, that's their own internal survey. So they did an internal
crazy.
survey, which are generally a little biased. But nope, at least 1 in 4. And by the sounds of it, the other 3 were the ones conducting the said misconduct. It doesn't sound like there was a lot of just like normalcy. It was basically just like monsters and their victims. That's Ubisoft. I've just got some things that I pulled out of this article that I wanted to highlight. There's only 66% of the respondents who reported an incident felt that they had received the support they needed. So there, in Peterson, you know this, everyone knows this, that reporting on these incidents is very low compared to like the actual incidents that happen. And then the idea that a third of the people that made reports just felt like it didn't do shit is because those 33 people will never make another report if they feel that way, which I guess is kind of the goal of Ubisoft's higher ups. They also announced, so they're announcing a lot of things that they're doing and talking. I think this is all kind of internal and it was leaked, but this is what Ubisoft is promising their employees, is that they're paying bonuses to people for meeting diversity hiring quotas. Seems like you guys are not understanding the problem at all. Are you kidding me? Like, hey, all you white dude managers, you hire some people that aren't white dudes, we will give you more money. They're like, wow, whatever, I'll do anything as long as I keep getting more money. That's basically all I ever do. And they also have added a new PR department or PR sub department to avoid obvious fuck ups and inherent bias from their own inherent bias and shitty bigotry. This is like, you guys, I didn't see this, but apparently you guys know that in the latest Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can choose to play as either one of either a female or male set of twins. However, when the trailer came out for the game, it was just a dude. It was just the male twin throughout the whole thing. And so everyone's like, wow, that's kind of weird, especially since you had this whole Me Too thing like 2 weeks ago. Where are your heads? And they're like, oh yeah, we're releasing a new trailer with some updated soundtrack stuff. They released the exact same trailer, but it had the female character in it, and they just never acknowledged it. So I think it's going to be a very long uphill climb, it sounds like, culturally, because they can't do anything right. I mean, Christ, the month before this, they released a Tom Clancy mobile game that used imagery. They used like videos from BLM protests from this year to depict an in-game terrorist group.
How did I? Oh, and you forgot what the terrorist group was called. Umbra.
What is that? What is that? I don't know. What is that?
It was like, basically they were trying to say that BLM adjacent with like the fist was a terrorist organization that was like all underground.
Oh my gosh.
With using a word for dark.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
like, how tone deaf can you be?
That's real bad.
Extremely. Apparently, Ubisoft has not found the depths of how tone deaf they can be. So much so they had to make a whole department that's literally their job is to not be tone deaf. That is unbelievable. I feel like it's just... Oh, I don't know, man. It seems like they've just got a lot more pain to go through before they can get to the recovery part.
Yep.
You know what I think is happening for real? I think they were really disappointed at not getting a Blurstie last year. And they were like, you know what? No, we are going to sweep the Blursties. And they're going for it. They already had a worst name nomination. I don't know if you remember this. They'll have a worst name candidate. Do you remember? This guy's name was Max Bellend.
Max Bellend? Oh, dude.
Dude, I can't. I think about Max Bellend like once a week. It kills me so much. Dude, they are going to sweep it. I'm telling you, this feels intentional. Guys, don't do this for a Blurstie. Not this. Just do some bad writing or something.
Yeah, like, this isn't even one of the fun Blursties either. Love giving fun Blursties, hate giving racism Blursties.
And sexism
just going to
Blursties.
say it. Those are my least favorite kinds. Are you kidding?
Guys, those aren't even categories. Stop trying to get into it.
We had to make that category. God. Okay, so the last bit of news. This one's just weird.
A fun one.
Steve and Alex, who are characters from Minecraft, correct, Peterson? I don't know. I didn't know that Minecraft characters had names.
Steve is like the main Minecraft guy, and Alex is the main Minecraft girl.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, they are officially joining Smash Brothers?
Dude, people are mad about this. I think it's awesome.
It's just weird.
It's so weird. But here's the thing. Everything about Smash Brothers is weird, so I don't this doesn't bother me at all. But people were mad, like really mad, because we know that like Microsoft and Nintendo are like buddy now. They're in some weird kind of relationship where they don't live together, but they're like spending the night at each other's houses 5 nights a week. Like that's Microsoft and Nintendo these days.
Yeah.
So everyone was mad because they wanted Master Chief. They wanted Master Chief in Smash Bros, which would be cool, right? But there's a lot of like spacey gun characters in there. This is so different. I don't know. I like it, but I am not a competitive Smash Bros player either. So I'm interested to see what other people think.
Yeah, I want all sorts of characters in Smash Bros. Like, let's just break all these genre and console barriers. Let's put Norman Reedus from
and his funky feet.
Death Stranding, yeah, and he just like builds ladders and shit.
And he pees on stuff.
And he pees on things. Yeah, those are his moves. He builds ladders, he pees on things, and he pulls out his baby, and his baby, like, I don't know, scans something. Let's just have them all, dude. Let's have every video game character in Smash Brothers. This would be the funniest shit ever.
Yeah,
it'd be so good.
Bring them all in.
Everybody's
in now. Aloy
but not
from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that's the thing. Waluigi is not a playable character in the game.
No.
That would be the
I think
best
it's just
troll.
a joke now. I think it's a joke now.
20 years of Smash Brothers, almost every single video game character in history is in it, except for Waluigi. Like, yes.
Wario is in it. Luigi's in it. Not Waluigi, dude. It's so funny.
Never give him his own game. Never give him any respect. I don't know why, but that's what's happening.
He's gonna be the main villain of the next one. It's fine.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be like a Thanos thing. He's gonna be like some ultra villain.
It's gonna be real dark though, because he's pissed that they keep ignoring him.
Right.
So he's gonna be like, he's gonna straight up, he's gonna like try to kill the princess. He's not just gonna kidnap her. This is gonna be real dark. I'm telling you. Waluigi is pissed, you guys, and you brought this upon yourself, Bowser.
Tight. Okay, on that note, let's move on. All right, Kudos is our positivity segment. We like to give shout outs to things that we're super into. Peterson, just let's do this. I wanted to do this for a week. What is your Kudos this week, Peterson?
Okay,
Confess your Kudos.
I got back into a show that I hadn't watched for a while because I saw there was a new season. And I was like, oh, dude, I kind of like this show. This was fun to watch with Graham. It's The Curse of Oak Island. And I think I've talked about this before. Oh, but season 6, baby. Season 6 is it's on Hulu. I'm watching it. It's fantastic. It's bigger, better. They are spending way more money on tearing apart this island and like digging stuff up. They're finding all sorts of crazy stuff.
Have you told people what this show is about?
Okay, so no. Here, let me go. Curse of Oak Island.
God,
there is a legend where some brothers in the 1700s or something found some treasure on an island.
You don't even know the original legend.
On an island.
I've been watching this. You've been watching these two dumbasses try to dig up treasure so long, you literally don't even remember what the treasure is.
There is no treasure. There, it could be all sorts of things. So listen,
like the friendship we made along the way.
Okay, that's
and
part of it. Okay,
the 6 seasons we made along the way.
That's part of it. But I mean, they may have said that when they get skunked. But there's this island off the coast of Nova Scotia where it's rumored there's a treasure. People have been searching for this treasure it's not a big island. People have been searching for treasure on this island, but they get thwarted by the island, like in Lost. And 6 people have died, and the legend says a 7th has to die before the mystery is revealed. I don't know where that came from, but they say that.
The TV producers, that's where it came from.
That's where it came from. So, but these 2 brothers, I kid you. Okay, sometimes this show feels like a parody of itself because the brothers are named Rick and Marty.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and their last name, I just caught on to this time because I have subtitles on. Their last name is Lagina. No big deal, right? It is spelled like vagina with an L. I'm not kidding.
Lagina?
Exactly.
Rick
Yes,
and Marty Legina.
Dude.
You're right.
I'm
This
telling
does
you.
sound like self-parody.
It's a parody. And but the like narrator voice, this gets us every time now. Because every time they find something or there's some sort of mystery, it does this in this exact tone. A gold coin found in the money pit? Everything like that. That's everything. What's another one? Bookbinding? 74 feet underground? And I bet it does that 10 times an episode. It's
Dude,
the best.
here's the deal. So the idea is that there's this like giant shaft that goes down.
Oh, yeah. It's a parody, guys. It's a parody. I get it now. I'm hearing it. I'm
getting
I'm so
it. The whole
sorry.
thing's a joke on idiots. No,
the
it's a
shaft
big
is called the money pit.
the money
guys,
pit. It's
listen.
literally called the money pit because they keep spending money, and so many different people have like come along and tried to like dig it up. And every time they dig it up, more water gets in it, and it just gets worse and harder. And these guys come along, and I watched the first because I think this is an interesting legend. It's interesting enough to read the Wikipedia page on it, not interesting enough to watch like 6+ seasons of this show in
Get
which
invested,
nothing
JD.
fucking happens. This is like
Are
when
you kidding me?
Jackson watched this show on Bigfoot. It was like 18 seasons long, and like in the middle of it, they had
Wow.
developed what they called squatch calls, and they'd go out
my
there and they'd be
God.
like,
I've seen
and
the
the other
show.
one, and the other one would turn to his friend and be like, "Yeah, that was a good squatch call.
Good
He did
squatch
a
That
good
was
squatch call
squatchy.
there." As if there's a
Real squatchy.
squat. There isn't a squatch call, but they had been hunting so long. This wasn't about Bigfoot anymore. It was just going into the fucking woods and making weird noises.
Go
for the
camping with your
cameras.
buddies and then go.
That does
And
sound
that's
kind
what
of
Peterson's
fun.
watching. It's just guys digging in the mud, like
No,
pulling
listen.
random shit out of the mud and being like, "Tight." That
Here's
was
the
cool.
They
Real
do
squatchy.
find stuff. That's the thing. They find
They find
stuff.
garbage from all
Well,
the
they-
last people who dug in the hole and left their garbage there.
JD, they found a cross. Okay.
It's garbage cross.
No, they found a cross. They had it dated, and they had what they do is they'll take like a laser imprinting or something, and then it makes like an ion cloud so they can analyze what it's made out of.
Where do they have the money for
I'm
this?
sorry,
Dude,
listening to
no,
you
no.
defend
They
this is
spend-
fantastic. This
They
is the
spend
best.
millions. I'm not kidding. Millions. They did this, and I love that you said that for this, Danny. They just built a like 150-foot wall to dam off part of the ocean. Like, dude, I'm telling you, they spend
How?
millions.
Why?
So-
Why
but
is that
they-
going to corner? Is that going to corral Sasquatch?
Sasquatch is not on this island.
They're going to
unconfirmed.
trap him. He'll have nowhere to
He's
go.
not on Oak Island. No, but listen, they dated this. They said they found out what quarry this metal came from, and it was not one in North America. It's from Europe, and it was a quarry that was used in like the 1600s. Come on, that's cool. They just found it on the island.
Okay.
They find stuff, but they don't find treasure. They haven't found anything worth anything yet, but
Which
they're
is
gonna,
exactly where
JD,
I left
gonna.
off in the show after watching the first 3 episodes. You're 7 seasons deep now, and you're still like, "Oh, they're so close. They're
I want to
so
watch
close.
it
They
right
just
now.
built a
I
big
want to watch
wall."
it right now.
Are you
They're
sure
gonna
you're
find
not
it.
just watching Pawn Stars? Because it sounds a lot like Pawn Stars
Okay,
with more
to be
camping.
fair, I'm not 100% sure that they
It's
haven't
just Pawn
placed
Stars with
any
more
items.
steps.
Okay, so the Curse of Oak Island gets my kudos. Really fun show, guys. It's really great. Go watch Rick and Marty Legina.
Where do you watch Rick and Marty Legina dig in their giant money pit?
It's on Hulu. I look, guys. I enjoy it. Okay, it does
Ugh.
get old sometimes, but if you watch one season a year, the Legina brothers are killing it.
Or just watch 1 or 2 episodes, you will get the entire gist of the whole series. I have a kudos, and this is very special. I'm calling it a double dipped kudos. You guys remember the Kudos candy bar did not, it came out normally and it was like a granola bar, and people were like, "Yeah, this is pretty good." But then somewhere down the road, Mars Candy Company was like, "Yeah, I think people like Kudos, but they'd probably like them more if we just covered them in chocolate." And then someone, I'm sure, was like, "Yeah, but then we can't really market it as a healthy candy bar or a healthy granola bar." And the guy was like, "We can't?" Did it anyway. So my double dipped kudos goes to something I already gave kudos to. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just finished this show. I gave it a kudos a couple weeks ago when I started watching it. Having finished it, I feel like I have to give it kudos again. Just very quickly, this is by far the best children's show I have ever watched, best cartoon I have ever watched. I think the idea that it was 3 seasons and they were clearly laid out like it was a complete story that they had in mind the entire time. I don't know if there's a lot of kids shows that I watched growing up that weren't serialized. So it was a really cool format to see. It also made the planned narrative makes moments in the series just like so much more powerful than in like a random episode of, Batman the Animated Series. You can only have as much weight as was developed in that singular episode because it wasn't really designed to watch straight through. The writing, the character development, the conclusion, it's just all amazing. Just the most insanely well put together animated TV show I have ever seen. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's called Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it is just stellar. And it's kid friendly, so watch it with your kids.
Awesome.
Anyway, okay, let's move on to a little bit of rundown.
Hey, dude, you know what a rundown is?
Use it in a sentence.
Can you get this rundown for me?
Try another sentence.
This rundown better be really good.
I don't know, but it sounds like the rundown's really important.
The rundown. Okay, so guys have been wanting to do this for a while because there are 2 games that have come out that really have cemented themselves as part of the zeitgeist of 2020. The first one to do this, Fortnite killers. Come on. The first one, Fortnite's going to have a Fall Guys skin. I guarantee it in the next year. The first one's Fall Guys. I mentioned to you that I had played this game for a little bit. I've talked about it on Discord a little bit, but I don't think I've actually fully talked about it on the show. Have either of you played Fall Guys?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I have friends who are really into it.
So Fall Guys is this game where you're playing as these little beans in costumes that you run around and do obstacle courses, and it is Battle Royale style. So there's 50 people running, and you got to jump over stuff, and there's poles swinging, and you got to duck under them or dive over them, or something like that. Jump to the next platform, and stuff's hitting you and knocking you off the board. It's really fun, right? It's a fun game to play. You've played games like it in maybe like a Mario Party mini game or something, or if you remember on the original Xbox, Fusion Frenzy. It feels like it's going to be like that. So I can understand why people got into it based on that alone. However, when I go in to actually play the game, the mini games are medium fun at best because the control, and I don't know, maybe this was a me thing, but the controls were just a tiny bit sluggish. So you jump and it would jump half a second later, right? So it wasn't really immediate. When you're trying to time a jump, right, that's really obnoxious. And so, the first, 15 people or 20 people to get to the other end, move on to the next board until there's only one left. So you're doing all these little mini games, and you're like, oh, this is cool. Can't wait to see what the next one is. And you're playing the mini games. And after an hour, you've played every single mini game in Fall Guy that Fall Guys has to offer. And about half of them are interesting, right? The other ones are not very fun, or just completely just total luck. There's some team games, and if your team sucks, it's well, I guess I'm going. And for me, that kind of ruins the fun of it. For me, what should be the fun of it. But after playing this game for an hour, I just felt no desire ever again to play it again. My kids stopped playing it. after the same thing. I don't understand what the allure of this game was, besides it was kind of funny sometimes to watch.
That was going to be my question: is what, to your best guess, would you say is so appealing to everybody? Like, can you suss that out? Like,
it's did you say sus?
I'm so sorry. I felt it coming out of my mouth, and I was like, God damn it!
Can we vote him again? My gosh,
Sure.
JD. Vote him.
Voted.
No. I think it's just the humor of it, the same way. Those like those like rubbery characters, just like a fighting game with the rubbery characters where they kind of grab each other and try to throw each other off the. Yeah. It's fun. Like that is fun, which I didn't think was very fun at all. It's like funny to watch for a minute, and then it's just kind of boring. I don't understand how people got like really into Fall Guys, because look, if I'm being honest, I don't get it. I didn't think the levels were even that interesting. And so the skill level required is pretty low. I think maybe streamers liked it because people thought it was funny, but again, that game, I feel like it kind of came and went. Like it didn't stick around, which I never thought it would stick around because I just didn't enjoy it. And it was quickly replaced by Among Us, which came in screaming. Among Us has been around for, 2 years already?
Yeah, it's been around a while. And it just kind of surged into relevance.
Mm-hmm. And probably a little bit of this has to do with... the situation we're in the world where things are bleak and we're at home and sitting around and on our phones playing games and, lacking social experience. And Among Us is a social game. Mm-hmm. If you've ever played Werewolf, it's pretty much Werewolf,
it's a party game.
It's a party game. There's a 10 group of 10 people. There's one or two imposters and then the game's like, okay, you're an imposter or you're a crewmate. If you're an imposter, you go around killing crewmates. If you're a crewmate, you go around trying to catch the imposter in the act by seeing them kill somebody, or you find a dead body, you can report the dead body. Or there's a venting function where only the imposters can go through a vent system in the game, so they can kind of like essentially teleport around the board. But since the imposter's the only one who can vent, if you see someone come out of a vent, right, then you know that they're an imposter, and you run away, and you can call an emergency meeting, and that's the werewolf aspect of it. And I forgot to mention, while you're a crewmate, there are little tasks you can go around and do, and if all the tasks are completed, then the crewmates win, right? But once you report a dead body or you call an emergency meeting, then all the characters like get together, and then that's where the party function of it comes in. You have a little chat there where you can type in chat and say like, oh, who, I saw Red venting or something, and then everyone will be like, oh, then it's Red, and they'll vote for Red, and whoever gets the majority vote gets kicked off the ship.
Into space.
Yeah, so it's about lying and manipulation and deceit and trickery and all that type of stuff, which makes Werewolf fun.
It sounds like Secret Hitler.
Yeah, it's that. It's that same concept.
Yeah, they're basically lying games. Yeah. Lying in like secret role games. It's a whole genre.
Tight.
And those games are fun. They really are fun. This one, for me, feels, I don't know, less fun so I played it on my phone, which you can download on your phone for free, or you can play it on Steam for $5. I have played it both solo and with a large group, where everyone's on Discord. But playing solo for me just is not fun, because if you're just trying to type out like an accusation or something on your phone and you're like, oh, type it out real quick, and you get there, then there's already 8 other messages, so the back and forth just isn't very good. And that's how abbreviations like sus comes about, right? Because you don't want to write like, oh, Red is acting really suspicious, right? Mm-hmm. and so you just write sus, and so kind of that becomes part of our lexicon
Vernacular,
now. We just use it. We use sus now. You see 1,000 memes a day that say sus.
Which is really good because there's so many shady people out there right now.
Everyone's acting pretty sus.
Everybody's
acting
sus.
sus.
2020 sus.
Now, 2020 is sus.
For real.
Real sus.
And so I get it. Like, that sounds pretty fun. That gameplay sounds pretty fun. But for me, Among Us just falls short. It's because even when you're on Discord, okay, a lot of the time it was like someone would report a dead body and they'd be like, it was yellow. I saw yellow. Nope. I saw him kill the guy. He didn't know I was there. I saw him. They voted and everyone's like, all right, well, I didn't see anything. So I guess we'll vote yellow. And like 70% of the time it was like, yep, you're right. And you win and game over. And so it just didn't have the level of deceit and intrigue that I think the in-person versions do, like Werewolf and Bang and Secret Hitler, right? These types of games, they've got that, like that extra element. You're sitting around and you're looking at each other and lying, and this is just all done online. I don't know. I played, and I've put a fair amount of time into Among Us. I have put probably almost 2 hours in this game, and I just don't think it's fun. Whenever my friends want to play, I'm like, fine, I'll play a couple games. After 2 or 3 games, I'm like, I'm done, guys. I'd rather just go play Rocket League by myself or something. This just isn't very fun.
Aww.
And this is okay. So this one is huge, and people are loving it, and I do not get how this game could be fun for more than an hour or two, because it just becomes very samey and repetitive, and people don't get that clever with their with their strategies, because you almost don't have enough time to do much of a strategy, especially when there's people typing. I don't know. I just don't think it's that interesting or fun. It makes great memes, fantastic memes,
and cosplays. Like, that is the fascinating thing on TikTok right now, is how many like Among Us cosplays there are.
Yeah, I'm fully in on that stuff because I think that's hilarious. But the game itself is not fun to me. You guys have to play it. Just download it on your phone.
Oh, it's on my iPad. I just haven't gotten a group together yet.
Just play a few rounds, and you'll see. You'll be like, oh yeah, this is not that fun. I don't know. I don't get it. If we have any listeners who are like obsessed with this game, call me out. Let me know why you think it's so fun. But yeah, I think there's just way more fun games to play with your friends, right? I have more fun playing Jackbox games than Among Us, right? And so if you've got 10 friends, you might as well do that instead of running around in Among Us. For half the time you can't talk, right? Because you don't want to talk while you're running around because you'll give it away what you're doing. And so I don't know, guys. These games are not very good, and they're not very fun. I get it. They got really big. I think it's because they're happy and silly in a dark time in the world. But other than that, I mean, these games just aren't good.
I don't know, man. Like, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt until I can play it. I actually think I'll really like it. But one thing that's fantastic to see, that's a little funny, is how 2 of the most major games to come out of 2020 are both little bean dude games.
Like the characters are nothing, right? They're just like little bean characters.
Oh,
they're nothing.
Their team is tiny. Yeah, like if you look at the credits on Among Us, that is a very small team. And so, like, it's
and these
really
guys have
great,
made a ton of money, and that makes me super happy, right? Whenever an indie studio has a hit, I get happy about that.
And they announced that they canceled working on Among Us 2 because Among Us 1 got so much steam that they're going to go back and make their code base better. And I think that was a great decision for them because, I mean, that's where the gold mine is at. Don't rebuild from scratch if you can make what you have run a little longer and run a little better, especially when it's kind of at the height of its prime.
Yeah, I borrow some server space because, like, when I played with my friends, we couldn't play in North American servers. We had to like jump around the world to find a place that wasn't full. We couldn't start our own game in North America, so we had to jump to Asia. Another time we had to jump to South America, I think. And so So yeah, I mean that they didn't realize they would all of a sudden get so big, right?
Well, I
I don't
think
think
it's
there's
funny
any expecting that.
how big
Sorry, go
they
ahead.
are, considering that I think it would be so funny to like show, I don't know, the gaming industry in 2000 when it was so obsessed with graphics that IGN
Still that
reviews,
way.
everyone's reviews had like a category of like how good the game's graphics were and how
So realistic. Oh
graphic,
my God.
how realistic they looked and how realistic people looked. And I'm like, guess what? It's in 2020, the two most popular games in the world are going to be Bean People. And they're not even going to look like super high def Bean People. That's just like kind of low res Bean People. And I love that because that's the thing is like games shouldn't be graphics shouldn't even be like the first consideration with a game. If you're making a game and you're like, I want it to look so realistic and amazing, like stop. That shouldn't be the first like priority in any game, because
like is that the point of your game needs to be the question. Is that like an aspect? Are you going for like a realism simulator?
Just make a movie.
Yeah,
we don't want you in the game industry. Out.
Yeah, like it's really nice to see in 2020, especially like with PS5's big announcements too, that the game industry is becoming at least a little less obsessed with realism as the end all be all. Like stylized art is still art. It's still pretty. And these Bean People are making huge waves. It doesn't all have to look like Last of Us, even though Last of Us is very pretty.
That exactly. And I think everyone's trying so hard to make it look so good. I think the only games so far where I really want it to look amazing always is car games. Because it looks weird when you see characters and like their faces look weird, or like you can obviously tell it's hard to get a person exactly right.
Uncanny Valley,
vehicles are so easy. Well, I say easy, but it's so common now, and they can make them look so good.
That's all texture work. That's like good hard surface modeling and good textures.
Right, and they can do it. Like you've seen it done, and you play the game, and it still looks good while you're playing the game. That's where I want to see that, right? I don't want, but like when I'm seeing characters and like, wacky things, I don't care. I really don't, unless they try too hard and fail. That's worse than just making a mediocre, graphically mediocre game. Because I've played Fallout, I've played Elder Scrolls. They're not going for realism on their old games, right? Maybe they were at the time, but it doesn't. I don't play it because it looks realistic, right?
Okay. Well, that's why Peterson hates everything that everyone loves.
They're not fun. That's why. Because they're not fun. That's pretty much the only reason.
Oh, they're going to come and get you, man.
Good. Come at me. I want someone to tell me why they think this game is fun.
You sure you don't want just someone to come over because it's been quarantined for this long?
Come at me, please. Come at me. Give me a hug.
Please, guys. I can only play so much Rocket League.
I've been playing a ton of Watch Dogs 2, and I had a question for you guys that I wanted to pose before we wrap up the show. One of the things that I have noticed in Watch Dogs 2, because I have not played a big open world game in so long, is that I get really trapped in these side missions. And there is so much to do in Watch Dogs 2. And unfortunately, there's also like a ton of online stuff going on, and like random people dropping in your game and like trying to kill you or trying to hack you or wanting to play with you or trying to go to a mission with you, that it's really easy to just get lost and not really progress in the story. Like I've been playing the game for like 20 some odd hours, and I really genuinely think I've done 3 main storyline missions. I think I've only done 3. Like wow. I'm so far behind in the story. It's unbelievable. So I had this thing I remembered, then Peterson and I believe talked about this when we were playing Far Cry 5 last year. But in Far Cry 5, there was this mechanic where if after just a set amount of time, was it a set amount of time, Peterson, or like set amount of missions, or just like
I don't know. It would just do it, and I didn't know what the catalyst was, but it would do it, and it was honestly appreciated.
Yeah, because what would happen is you get hunted down by these guys who, no matter what you did, even if you like got in a jet and you were flying 4,000 feet in the air at like the speed of sound, one of these guys would shoot you in the leg with a tranquilizer dart. through like the fuselage of your plane.
Yeah,
as you do.
Yeah, as they do. And you just wake up, and the story, you had been kidnapped. You get kidnapped 9 times in this game and let go by the bad guys. And by the way, each time, like, you kill one of them. So they keep kidnapping you, knowing that you're going to kill them and knowing you've killed their family members. So it's kind of a dumb mechanic, and it's kind of silly in the story. But like Peterson said, it carried the storyline along so much that, like, you couldn't avoid beating the game, which was... I wanted to ask, do you guys appreciate that? Would you like that if it happened more? I'm kind of thinking Watch Dogs 2 could pull it off. Watch Dogs 2 could have random events happen that keep the story moving if I don't do something. But then again, I think people were kind of annoyed by it. Like, dude, just let me like take my time and play the game slowly. I want to know where you guys are at on that. What do you guys think? If this is something that should be explored more in open world games.
So I actually have an example I may have brought up before. It's not necessarily like fully open world, but I think that there are more graceful ways to achieve that kind of effect. In Borderlands 2, there's a natural bottleneck to the way that the questing system works, where you start out with your story mission, you get only a handful of side missions, and then it will let you do the story mission like right after. You can breeze through the entire story if you want. But if you are obsessed with kind of taking your time and you want to kind of progress at your own pace, you can do all of the side quests that you can get. But at some point, it's going to basically only have that one story mission for the progression in your quest log, and you're going to have to do that story mission in order to get more side quests. So it kind of does like a bottleneck bow thing, like a piece of ravioli, to get you through the story. And it's very smooth. It's very fun to just kind of go, oh, okay, like I've done everything on my checklist. It's time to go do a story mission. And you feel like you're getting the entire experience of the game, like no matter how long you're taking, because you feel like you didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
which is super appreciated.
I like that a lot, and I think I like that more than the Far Cry model, because I think what was repellent for people about that was this idea, and to me too, that I don't really care for, is when games feel like they know how I want to play it, or how they feel like they know how I should play it. Like, you should be doing it this way. And when a game feels like it's telling you how to play it, I am just like, well, I'm not going to play you at all then. I don't want to play. So, I think kind of just like basically, because I think, Danny, when you mentioned that quest log, we've talked about this. I coined a term called quest fatigue. When you have so many quests on your quest log, you're just like, I don't want to do anything. So that I think would solve 2 things, which would be really cool. Peterson, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I'm mixed, but I think where I land is I don't want to experience the Fallout 4 effect, where they give you a story where it is like pretty urgent, right?
You're looking
for your son.
Where's my infant son?
In the meanwhile, you're doing all of these random quests, right, that have no bearing on your search for your son.
I completely forgot I had a son.
I totally forgot. And I got burned out before I even finished the game because I'd done so many side quests. And I just didn't care about my son anymore, I guess.
I just got my happy ending. I'm on a farm with my husband,
Wait, what game
Hancock.
did you play?
Fallout.
Wait, did you just say Hancock? And you said happy ending.
Yeah,
Danny,
we have a farm and I have so many dogs.
You can't.
All these dogs. We live
Danny
a happy
never
life.
did a single mission in Fallout 4. She immediately retired. She's like, this place sucks. I'm going to make the best of my life, what's left of it.
Yeah.
I romanced the ghoul and we're happy.
And we're happy together.
Look, Danny, love doesn't have any eyes, apparently.
He looks like beef
skin.
jerky. It's fine.
Beef jerky.
He gives
That's
me
one
drugs.
of his pet names. No big deal.
Yeah, that's what his kisses taste like, too.
Oh, I don't like it.
Beef jerky kisses.
Sometimes
Do not
they're a
ruin
little
my
chewy.
husband.
Ew. No, so I don't like that. I don't like when they create an urgent story where it feels like in real life you wouldn't postpone, getting to the point of the game.
Yeah.
But because they do that often with open world games. However, I do appreciate it when they create a world that is truly open and your objective is out there. You know what you're trying to do, and there is no real sense of urgency. Kind of how, the Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
They had side missions, and you could do them because you were just kind of a guy wreaking havoc, but like you weren't antagonist number one, right? They didn't know, you weren't on everyone's radar. You know what I mean? And so there wasn't like this huge urgency. It wasn't like you got to do it before the nuclear bomb lands and then you're running around doing fetch quests, right? Mm-hmm. There was no sense of urgency. You just could do it when you wanted. And I appreciated that because then I felt like, what I was doing was living in the world and like slowly progressing towards my goal, but not barreling straight at it. And it's not waiting for me. Because the other thing I hate is when you have a main story mission that's like, go meet Alex at the gas station, he'll find you and meet him there. And you're like, is he just perpetually at the gas station forever? He just hangs out there until I show up, right? I don't like that. So,
the life of an NPC.
That's right. So I like open world games and I like side quests. I don't like it when they've created a storyline that's so urgent and complex that you feel like you're failing by not doing that. Does that make sense? So yeah, if they've given you a lot of freedom and you're like, oh, your mission is to go kill the king, and then you can just do that on your own time. You can kind of build up to it on your own instead of rescue your infant son who's been kidnapped and then you're doing a fetch quest. Like in no real situation would that happen. So I do like the move along feature when it fits the story. That's because that's what open world games are for me. It's all about the world that they've built, the story that they've built. What am I there to do? And if it's open-ended, then fine. Let's play at my own pace. But if it's a little urgent, like rescue this city from Crazy Jacob in Far Cry, it's going to be a little more urgent. So them moving me along is appreciated because it feels like I am a bad guy to the bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. They're trying to get me, and they're actively trying to get me, and they do get me, and then I escape, right? And so I like that moving along. So yes, it's like a yes and no. I want them to move me along when it makes sense for the story and the world.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have no more thoughts on this. I think that's a great conclusion. Let's move on to some dice.
Dice of Destiny.
Okay, Dice of Destiny is this fun little segment we like to do at the end of every episode. We roll a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. We then roll a 6-sided dice to see how much money we can spend. And finally, we roll a dice to see us to find a game for that price, pick it, play it, and review it. Peterson, a couple weeks back, you rolled... What did you roll?
A casual game.
Oh, just casual.
A filthy casual?
Yes.
Filthy casual voice. Yeah, all right.
And here's the thing. That's not typically... And I rolled it for like $50. So, I mean, casual games are not that expensive typically.
No.
I'm okay playing a casual game. And I think I mentioned this last week. But I was not in the mood for a casual game. Right? You know when you're just like jonesing for some type of game? And casual game was not that. And so it took me... I kid you not, I probably searched for games for around 2 hours. Just like I'd go in and look around and like, put some in my Steam cart, and then I would not buy them, and then I'd go look around again the next day. And so finally I landed on Game Dev Tycoon. Danny, have you played it?
I have some friends who play it in stream sometimes.
Okay. So you're vaguely familiar with it?
Yes, I am aware of its existence.
Okay, so I picked up this game. It's very highly rated on Steam, and it is a standard like tycoon simulation game. And a lot of the casual games that I would want to play were also simulation games. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll just do that. I wasn't in the mood for it. Started playing Game Dev Tycoon. You start as a game developer in your garage in the 80s, and it follows the timeline, the real world timeline of video games. So you go through, and you start out, and it's just like Commodore and the computer and the PC, and you build games, and then the NES is introduced. But of course, they have these like off-brand names because they can't say Nintendo, so it's like Nintendo and M-Box and
M-Box is still better than the Series X.
You guys didn't have one of those? Yeah, no.
Dude, M-Box was what your mom got you for Christmas when she picked it up, and she's like, here's your Nintendo, and she gets you the M-Box, and you're like, Mom, I just wanted an Xbox. This doesn't even play real games.
But this is what the GameStop guy said all the kids wanted.
Oh, man. So it was $35. And so you go through the real timeline of video games, which is fun because you kind of know what it is. And so you can kind of prep for that a little bit. So maybe it's cheating a tiny bit. But you start off and you name your studio. My name in several games is always Zero, because my gamer tag is often Johnny Zero. And there's like a story behind that. I saw a guy whose actual real life name was Johnny Zero. Thought it was the coolest name I'd ever heard. And then and that's my gamer tag now. And so I was like, okay, what's my studio going to be called? Zero. I can't just call it Zero. What should I call it? And so then I had this bright idea to call it Zero Ducks. You know, like a playoff.
That is a good indie studio name.
Yeah,
I
dude,
like that a
right?
lot. Zero Ducks.
Zero Ducks given. So Zero Ducks, and I would make several. I would go on to make several duck themed games, which had the most amazing names. Here was the travesty: my duck games had the best names. I'm throwing Quack into all of them. And they were just, I thought they were so funny. They always failed. Maybe the game was like programmed. Like if you use duck-based puns, like, no, this game's going to suck. No one wants to play a duck game. I don't know.
They're wrong.
But, right? These games, I was like, I would play this.
I want to play a duck game. Come on.
Dude, I'd play the duck game. So I started off, though, making a brawler type of game. I think I called it based off of my fantasy football name, which is a Brooklyn Nine-Nine joke called it was called Beatdown Boulevard. Right? That's a great brawler game.
It's a pretty good name, yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And then I just kind of went with that. And then I made like a racing game called Street Down Boulevard. And
oh my God.
Dude, I won't even tell you I spent so much time naming all my games.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much time do you spend playing versus naming?
Oh, so much time. And then, and so my company's doing pretty good. You move out of the garage, you move into an office once you start making enough money. And so I'll say, here's how you make the game. Before I get into it, let me tell you the mechanics. You decide when you want to start making a game. And when you do that, you pick the game engine, you pick what platform it's going to be on, you pick the genre, and you pick the theme. And you unlock themes as you go. You can like pay to research new themes. And one of the things I appreciated is that the themes are like random. You start with 4 and they're random. Every time I started, they were different themes. And the ones I would unlock were different. So you could kind of play with that a little bit. So you make a game, you pick all your specs and stuff, and then you just spend time making it, and then you release it. And then it gets reviews. And then that kind of dictates how well the game is going to do. Later on, you can hype your game. You go to game conferences, and you can choose how big of a presence you'll have there. It all costs money, right? So you're managing your money. you're paying your employees, so you're managing that budget. You have to send your employees on vacation. You can tell there was some game developers who definitely had their fingers in this, because they were like, they had a motivation bar, and once it got too low, you had to send them on vacation, or they would program too many bugs into your game.
Oh my god, it's too real.
Yeah, like, I get it, guys. I get it. Hey, you guys are creating your utopia. So then, your studio gets bigger and you get more options. You create your own engine, and you're researching all these different capabilities for your game engine, and that costs a lot of money. You can do side jobs for a little extra cash, all that sort of stuff. So it really gives you like a lot of options you can do as you go through the gaming world. And of course, as technology progresses, your options open up. You can work with a producer and build the game they want you to build until you're big enough to big enough to distribute your own games.
Oh, you mean a publisher?
Yeah, publisher. That's the word I meant.
Okay, I was like, this whole game just sounds like what my producers do daily.
Yeah, no, sorry, a publisher. You can work with a publisher when you're still small, and so my real success, Zero Duck's real success, came from just the stupidest concept that I had, and I had mentioned this before. I think was one of the themes I unlocked early on was werewolf. And so I was like, I'll make a werewolf. It'll be my mature werewolf RPG for the computer, But, of course, I was like, can I think of any sexy werewolves? The only one I can think of was Jacob from Twilight.
The sexiest
of werewolves. And so I was like, okay, so it was named like Jacob's Curse or something like that. And then I had this idea.
Jacob's Sin.
Every couple years, I'm going to release a mature-themed RPG of Jacob. And the names got progressively more like innuendo.
Suggestive.
Yeah. And so essentially, I was releasing Twilight fanfic, because then I unlocked vampire games.
Yes!
And you know what I was going to do. So then Jacob joined in. Or sorry, Edward. And the Edward games were not as successful.
Fair.
But the crossover,
the slash fic, it must kill it though.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jacob and Edward, the beast inside me.
I ship that. I ship that.
Dude, that's where I saw my real success, when I started releasing my Twilight fanfic.
Beast inside me.
Yep, dude. And I'm telling you, and you've released
so
tons
proud
of
you
games.
right now.
Yeah, that's really good.
So proud of you.
Dude, this game is fun. This game is a lot of fun. I eventually became the most popular game studio at the convention. It'll say like how you ranked at the convention, how many people visited your booth. I was the most popular. I couldn't miss. I was releasing hit after hit. Jacob and Edward were just killing it for me. I even released a couple more duck games that did pretty good. I let my kids design a couple games for me. I was like, oh, hey, come check this out. What do you want to design? Every time it was an abject failure. I would lose millions.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
did you fire them?
Yes. I was like, oh, yeah, you can't do anymore. And they're like, oh, man, let me try one more. Nope. You're done. You lost for me. So
you'll never work in this town again.
Yeah. You're done. Pack up your stuff and get out of here. So yeah, this game, so much fun. I had an absolute blast with it. I think I put like 10 hours in it. I'm looking how much it costs on Steam right now. But yeah, I put like 10 hours in it. I played through it a couple times. The second time it was all I did solely simulation games. That got kind of hard. Not gonna lie, it got hard to come up with clever names for 1,000 simulation games. But I did it. This game is it's $10. I just checked, $10 on Steam. It's absolute blast to just kind of go through, and I played this game as immersed as I possibly could. I was in it. I was naming my games. I had like a whole like game library plan that I wanted to do. And I did it. And it was a lot of fun to just kind of go through and pretend you did this. And I absolutely 100% buy this game. It's releasing on the Switch, I think this month. And so it's going to be on the Switch this month. It's a great Switch game. Play it, guys. It's a small indie studio. It sounds like it's just a couple guys putting this game together. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. I would agree with that. Buy it any price because the price is $10. So that is my consensus of Game Dev Tycoon. Absolutely play it. It's so fun.
That little dev team is living the most meta experience I can imagine.
Yeah, I was going to say, Danny, you might want to stay away from that. There might be some triggering elements of this game.
Yeah, I feel like, because you're talking about naming the games after my studio just went through a week of surveys to name our title.
Nice.
Just like survey after survey after survey before we finally got down to like
you should have just called me up.
Yeah.
I'll get you
I should have.
away.
I should have, because that was so many meetings. I feel like this game is a lot kind of like a Papers, Please is triggering for some people that work in like clerical jobs and desk jobs, where that's like a very definitive split about Papers, Please, that anyone who does that stuff all day at work does not find the game as fun. I wonder, I'd kind of want to ask some of my other game dev friends if they'd play this and what they thought of it, because I think this would haunt me.
Yep.
Too real.
Okay, so that means that we have a re-roll, and Danny has the dope dice. So, Danny, will you roll us a d20?
All right, I just got these sexy new dice from Die Hard, and our number is an 11.
11 is a fighting game.
Oh.
Dang. Okay, so fighting's off the board, and mobile is on deck. Okay, so... Danny, can you give us a D6 to see how much we can spend on this fighting game?
All right, we got a 2.
Oh, man.
A $20 or less fighting game. And then finally, let's do I'll be 1, 2, Peterson 3, 4, Danny 5, 6.
All right, final roll. And we got another 2.
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
I needed a break.
Yeah, I was going to say, Peterson, you had a bunch in a row. Okay, so let's see. So that means... JD has $20
fighting game.
Okay. That is, dude, these are the types of ones that I really love. Is a genre that I just don't really have any interest in at all, and a price point that's going to make it really, really freaking hard.
Yep.
I'm going to end up finding some weird indie and just loving it to the moon.
You got to go indie on this.
Have to. Well, I can't afford not to. All right, guys. That does it for us this week. To play us out, we have music from Fall Guys. Guys, if you're not in already, come jump in and hang out in our Discord. We talk about the sode. We talk about food. We talk about that awesome Cardi B song, WAP. We talk about...
That was unintentional. You started it, JD. You started it.
It's kind of important to discuss. It's scholarly.
Culturally to know about it. So find us on Discord. No, I will not tell you how. You just have to figure it out.
It's an ARG.
It really is, because I've tried to provide instructions,
solve the puzzle,
and it seems more fun and rewarding when people just have to dig for it. So there are clues.
When they jump in and they're like, I
found it.
Seriously could not find this. I finally found it. That weirdly makes me feel good. So
yeah, dude, everyone has gone through that gauntlet. It's like our micro hazing. So once you get jumped into our Discord, you'll have a lot of fun. On that note, I'm JD logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
And Danny saying BRB.
Yeah, what are we...
Peter
Peterson Productions. Oh, yeah.